G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steel Nation Australia. My name's Mark, and today we are talking about camp storyline. So we are 3 days away from training camp, where the fellas get to go back out there, play football, put the pads on, meet the fans. Draw up plays with Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada, and Terrell Austin, and start to get around it. Get coached by Brian Flores. We can't wait to see that happen. So camp storylines. Let's start out short, fast, and sweet. Who's going to be QB number one? I don't know who's going to be QB number one. I think they're going to lean towards Mitchell Trubisky. So as we start, the football starts getting thrown around. I think it will be Trubisky getting QB1 reps going into the preseason, and then I think it's going to be Mason Rudolph getting second reps, then Kenny Pickett, then Chris Oladukin. So that is one big storyline we're going to have to watch over the next month or so. Through training camp, and now it's actually here. It's here. It's right here. I can't believe it, right? Training camp and preseason, that is one thing we have to watch, is who's going to be QB number one heading into that week one game. And the division of labor, as Tomlin says, will notify us as fans saying, well, if Trubisky's getting all the snaps, then he's going to probably be QB number one. That is one storyline we have to watch. Second, on the offense too, and speaking of second, who's going to be running back number two? Najee Harris is a workhorse. We all know how good Najee is. But the next step and the next problem is, who's going to be running back number two? Will it be Benny Snell? This is his last chance that Benny Snell has to show the NFL and show the Steelers that he can be a running back number two. And will he even make the team? I don't know. If that doesn't happen, does an undrafted player come up and steal the job like Mateo Durant? Or does a player like Anthony McFarlane get involved to be a running back number two? Or is another scenario, do the Steelers not have their running back number two on the roster just yet? And we're going to wait to see what happens with, cuts and free agents and stuff like that. Also, what is the confidence of the O-line heading into this season in 2022? We have pretty much a brand new O-line, right? We have Dotson, Dan Moore Jr., Mason Cole, Daniels, and Chooks. Those guys, the first five I mentioned, and Kendrick Green too behind that. I want to see what their offensive line, confidence. What's their confidence going into the preseason? Their confidence throughout camp. I want to see if they're big, strong, and mean in that pocket. On the other side, storylines for defense, right? One big thing I want to see for storylines for defense is heading back to Latrobe. I'm really keen this year to really get around and follow Cameron Hayward or guys like Minka for their leadership. So nothing to do with, tackling the football, nothing to do with scouting the play and running down the quarterback or picking off a pass or pass, deflection. This chance for me, and I think a lot of Steel fans, is like, well, what's going to happen, with the leadership? Is this the real chance that TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward and Minka really step up and say to the fellas, the younger blokes, the Super Bowl starts now. It starts now. So I'm keen to see that. The next point of storyline I think is going to be very intriguing to watch too is the cornerbacks. Is our secondary good enough to keep up with the rest of the team? We all know we have standouts in TJ Watt and Highsmith and these guys at the front. We all know the safeties are pretty good with Minka, the highest paid safety, and Terrell Edmonds, he's Batman to his Robin, right? We know what they can do, but can these cornerbacks, Cameron Sutton, Levi Wallace, and Akila Witherspoon, play that same standard that the safeties are playing and that the outside linebackers and the whole team as a defense is playing? So how will they step up, right? Lastly, or second last point is who is, what Devin Bush do we see? What Devin Bush do we see? And I'm intrigued to see Miles Jack in this defense as well. Devin Bush coming back from injury, Miles Jack, I guess brand new player for the Steelers, and how's he going to fit in? Well, hopefully, we're a winning culture, right? Coming from the Jaguars, now we're a winning culture. Is he going to go out there and light it up? I'm excited to see Miles Jack play, but I'm also excited to see Devin Bush, come back from the injury and give it his all under the coaching scheme and advice from Brian Flores, who should be a head coach in this league. Now, I think the last point is, we haven't had some players go back to Latrobe since 2019, before the pandemic, all that crazy stuff happened, right? There are players like Claypool that have not been back to Latrobe ever. So I want to see a bit of maturity around these players. I want to see these players fire up. All the talk is over. The only person, should be talking is in the huddle is like Cameron Hayward or TJ Watt. A lot of these other guys just need to go out there and do their job. So I'm keen to see the leadership of those blokes and those fellas to really push the button, push the point. And the time is now. The time is now to quiet the noise, go out there and do your job. So I'm excited, guys, to see what can happen over training camp and preseason. And I bet you guys are excited too. We're only 3 days away. Man, hopefully you guys had a good weekend. And I'll see you later. Here we go, Steelers. Here we